Hi everybody, I'm Kelly. Let's talk business. This week we're talking about data in martial arts centers. But listen, before we actually talk about what to do with the data, we have to understand what it actually is. If you follow my Instagram, you might remember that I did a quick reel a few weeks back about the differences between certain words that we tend to hear in the martial art business world. Words like numbers, metrics, KPIs, analytics, etc. Well, I need to bring that back up again because if we don't understand the difference between those terms, then talking about data can get really confusing really quickly. Now listen, many of you may already know what these words mean, and if you do, I beg forgiveness for taking it back to the basics. But honestly, I didn't know for years, and I always felt like everybody knew something I didn't. And when I finally learned what each of them meant and how to use them and how helpful they were, I thought, I cannot be the only one who felt that way. All right, so let's stop pretending we automatically know all of the stuff and that we really understand numbers. And let's start at the beginning. The same way we'd learn a martial art, let's go white belt first. So this video, that's all we're going to talk about. But in the next one, I'm going to actually talk about what data you might want to collect and what to do with it once you do. Okay, let's tackle this. We're going to start with the word numbers. When someone says, "What are your numbers?" it's enormously vague. I mean, numbers can mean anything. Square footage of your dojo, total students, monthly revenue, new enrollments. I mean, who knows, right? A very appropriate response, if somebody asks you that, is to say, what numbers specifically are you asking about? Because there isn't a magic list of numbers that martial arts school owners should track. It depends entirely on you and your individual business goals. All right, let's move on to the word metric. A metric is just a measurement, that's all. People say, I don't know what metric to keep, or I don't know what metrics to keep. And that's like saying, I don't know what measurements to keep. You can measure anything that matters to you. Attendance, retention, referral rates, trial conversions, whatever helps you better understand your school. The important part is really understanding why you are measuring it, all right? Now, let's talk about KPIs, key performance indicators. That sounds fancy, a little scary, but it really just means how are you doing working towards your goal? Because you cannot have a KPI without a goal. So before you say, I'm tracking KPIs, ask yourself, what is the goal I'm measuring progress toward? Otherwise, that's like asking someone, how are you? And you have to say, how am I in like what way? How am I with my fitness? How am I just this morning? It can be a little confusing. So you need to clarify your goal and then you can track your key performance indicators to see if you're getting there. All right, data. Data is literally anything you collect from your students, but data needs to be intentional. Don't collect random pieces of information. Collect only what you will use and collect with purpose. Analytics is the study of analyzing that data. That's it. You look at all of this data you collected and you look for patterns and trends, and then you try to, it's like reading a story. What are these numbers telling me and what decision needs to be made based on the data I'm looking at? And listen, that data can be addresses, zip codes, student ages, gender. It could be anything. Literally anything. It could be how your school performs. Like data it's reviews students leave you. It's everything. But that doesn't mean you need everything, right? So before we talk about data, we have to understand what do all of those things mean? What do numbers mean? What does metric mean? What does data mean? What are analytics? If we don't know that, it just feels like a lot. All right. That's all I'm going to cover in this video. We got to keep it under 5 minutes so I don't lose everybody. But the next video is going to be showing you what data do I collect, and I'll show you a real live example of how I use it. All right, you guys, that's it for today. Have a great one.